Have you ever assumed that all your POS integrations will work the same way? Just because you have it with your current system and the new vendor that you're looking at says it will integrate the same way? Think again. The truth is that not all integrations are created equal, and the quality of the integration make or break the way that you use the system and how your business operates. If you don't know me, my name is Jeremy Julian. I've been in the space for over 30 years, and I run go-to-market for a POS company, CBS North Star. I also run the only tech-focused podcast in the industry called the Restaurant Technology Guys, with over 400,000 downloads and over 300 episodes posted. In today's conversation, we're going to dive into why not all POS integrations are created equal and what are the things that you should be looking for as you're in the market and evaluating these things. We'll cover the differences between how integrations are built, how tightly they're integrated, the pitfalls that we continue to see in the space, and why you need to be careful and not make the same mistake that we see so many people in our industry make. The first thing we're going to talk about is how integrations are defined. So you hear a lot of times when you're in sales presentations or in conversations that we've got open APIs, everything is slated to talk to each other. But sometimes having a guest for a loyalty program tied to the point of sale, tied to the kiosk, tie all the way through to your CDP, those things may or may not be able to talk to each other. Can loyalty work with your online ordering system? Can it work with your point of sale? Can it work with your kiosk? Can it work with your CDP? Can it work with your staff management at the front of the house? Those are all things that you need to be thinking about for all of the touch points when it comes to an integration to your POS. It's not just does it integrate to the POS, but does it integrate with the POS? And if it does the same functionality and the same fidelity at the POS exist as it does if you're on the kiosk, as it does if you're on the web? We talk about it all the time on the podcast and with our guests. Is creating the best guest experience is critical in today's day and age because people are looking for things to be seamless. And so ensuring that your integration first and foremost does what it is that you're looking for and making sure that it doesn't impact both your staff and your guest is a big deal. Again, the idea that we hear all the time is, oh, it's an open API, everything is integrated. The unfortunate truth is that may or may not be the case. Things like how closely tied are these two systems? How long have they been integrated? How is the business relationship between the two vendors? Making sure that those things are aligned when it comes to your POS and the things that the operator's looking for, as well as the guests, are critical components to be thinking about. How deep is the integration? When you're looking to push sales data, is it pushing just the main items, just the gross sales numbers? Does it push all of the modifiers? Does it push all of the discounts and voids and comps and all of those items? Or is it just pushing up the main items? If you're a place that has ingredients that have multiple pack sizes, does it take into effect that I've got 3 ounces of pepperoni on this pizza and 4 ounces of pepperoni on that pizza? Does that data push through from the point of sale and the online ordering system and the third-party delivery system all the way through to your inventory system? Does pricing have the capability to be managed from the point of sale all the way through to your third party and all of your different ordering channels? These are all things that you need to be thinking about when you're considering an integration. The other piece is how often does the integration take place? Is it real time? Is it batched at the end of the day, at the end of the week? How often is data getting pushed between the two different systems? If I'm in a gift card system and if I'm in a loyalty system, making sure that I'm being able to get my points and my points accrual and points redemption at the time that I'm looking for it is critical. How technical are those integrations? Is it API based? Is it cloud to cloud? What are the requirements that are required when you go into these integrations? How do you need to ensure that, hey, if I'm down with the cloud, oftentimes we get asked this question, when the cloud goes down, what happens? Is your vendor telling you this integration is going to go down if and when you have a cloud outage? Everybody has them. They're going to be challenges, but what happens in those circumstances? What happens when your cloud is down? Do you lose the ability to accrue loyalty? Do you lose the ability to do third-party delivery? Do you lose the ability to post sales? What happens if and when you are in a state where you're not normally operating, what happens there? The third area that you need to be thinking about when you're talking through these selections is how often do things not match, and who is on the hook to make sure that those things take place. If in fact I have a data problem, talked about the 3 or 4 ounces of pepperoni earlier, who is on the hook to solve that? Is it the POS vendor? Is it the inventory vendor? Is it your IT staff that's going to get stuck? How often am I having to manage multiple systems? Am I having to manage my discounts in one system? I'm managing them in my loyalty system. I'm managing them in the point of sale. I'm managing them in third party, and I'm managing them in the kiosk. Or does all of that stuff flow through so that when marketing comes out with a new limited time offer, does the menu go through to all of those places? Does the discount go through to all of those places? Buy 2, get 1 free. Does the POS administrator have to now manage all 3 of those different areas? Or is the integration seamless enough that it gets put in once and then gets proliferated to all of the different systems that are out there? These are all things that you, as an operator, when you are thinking about these integrations, need to consider. How much is it impacting the staff member? Is the staff member going to have to remember, oh, if I'm doing this kind of loyalty for this kind of order, how does it make a change? If I'm doing this kind of third party, do I need to go to a different screen? What are the things that it's going to impact the operators? The last thing that I would tell you to think about is, what are the costs of maintaining that integration? Is it seamless? Are there extra costs? Many vendors on both sides of the equation are going to have an operating cost that's going to increase when they want to integrate these systems. Before you sign on the dotted line, ensuring that you understand what those costs are and that you factor them into the total cost of ownership is something that I think everybody needs to think about. I would encourage all of our listeners out there to force the vendors, force these operators to show you these items working. If it's something that's customer facing, can you go to a store that's using this kiosk, that's using this point of sale, that's using this loyalty platform to be able to understand it, make sure that you are going to be able to use it in the same way that you might for your own use case in your restaurant. How long has the vendor been integrated? How long has the vendor been in existence? What is their roadmap as it relates to these continuing to maintain integrations? We've seen a lot of times where they get an integration up and running for one customer, they don't get a whole lot of traction, and then they discontinue the use of that integration. How long has the integration been done? How often is it updated? How often do they test the integration to ensure that the integration is up to speed? If one vendor goes and does new features and functions, does the second vendor know those things, and do they understand how they need to keep up to date? How often are they both testing each other's touch points to ensure that there's not a pain point at the operator level or at the guest level when you are thinking about this? Again, we hear all the time that all integrations are created equal, or they say that they're integrated, or it's on their website. But the truth is that not all integrations are created equally. And unfortunately, you oftentimes will get stuck making a poor decision that impacts your operations. And now you're stuck in a contract. Now you're stuck in a agreement where you no longer can get out of it. And now you've got to figure out a workaround, or you discontinue service and now have to go search again. And so just because it says it on the website, just because the salesperson told you that these things are integrated, digging deeper in these questions that we've gone through today are going to help you to go through this process. One other piece of information that I would encourage our listeners to go download is we at CBS North Star just created a ebook on how to run the proper RFP process to ensure that you don't get stuck with not just integration questions, but questions overall as a brand to make sure that you're making the proper tech decisions. Go check out cbsnorthstar.com. If you'd like, you can post a question here in the comments, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Again, Jeremy Julian, or at Rest Tech Guys on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. Check us out. Would love to help you not to make the same mistakes that we continue to see over and over again in our space.